Here at Talladega this afternoon. Right now, the front four are single file. The scramble is going to be back there for third place. That's where the heat is being turned up right now as Kevin Harvick slides back to fourth. Now he moves back into third place as they go to turn two.
Harvick struggling in that outside lane. He's got drafting help from Jeff Gordon and Robbie Gordon. Robbie Gordon right up under the rear spoiler of the DuPont Chevrolet, but can't give him the push. The inside line is moving, and that's Bill Elliott looking for third.
And the traffic jam is from the third position on back. Kevin Harvick does have drafting help, but the inside lane advancing more and more with each passing lap. Although now Harvick trying to break free of Elliott, gets a fender out in front, but still the race is side by side for third.
Harvick had a fender out in front momentarily, but Elliott fought back down on the inside, putting a couple of left side tires on the yellow line of the apron. Elliott tries to lock down the third spot, still fighting Harvick fender to fender.
Further back in the pack, around 20th or 21st, we're seeing some 3 wide and occasionally 4 wide racing as guys are trying to come to the front in a hurry. As far as Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's not picked up that much ground. Matter of fact, he's still running back at about the 41st position, buried in heavy traffic. The race for the lead is on again in turn one.
Kevin Harvick grabs a handful. Look out, trouble upside down. And into the wall goes Ryan Newman. A number of cars involved. Head on into the wall goes Ricky Rudd. 13, 14 cars involved. Johnny Benson is in it. Jamie McMurray. Also Bobby Labonte. More than half the field piled up in the outside wall after Ryan Newman gets upside down in turn number 2.
Caution is on the speedway. A massive accident happening between turns 1 and 2 that's going to involve some 14 or more cars. Quite a few of them are littered down on the apron of the racetrack. Let's go back to turn 2.
Jeff Green is there, Barney. Jimmy Spencer is involved in it. Also the Kenny Schrader machine, John Andretti pulling away, Dave Blaney pulling away. Jeff Burton is involved. The big crash came from Ryan Newman, who was upside down, slamming into the outside retaining wall. We mentioned Ricky Rudd is also involved. The Mike Skinner machine is in it. A number of cars trying to limp their way back to pit road, but a number are not going to be able to even to drive away from the scene here in 2.
Couldn't really tell what triggered that. I just looked up in the corner and saw one car that had turned sideways, went into the wall, and from there on it was a matter of just collecting anywhere from 12 to 14 cars. Again, back to turn 2.
Well, the first thing I saw, Barney, was the drive shaft on the Ryan Newman machine as that car was full square, upside down, into the wind, pounded the outside retaining wall, took a wild ride, and then everybody else just went into evasive mode, a huge cloud of smoke and dust and steam that everybody did their best to drive through, but obviously a lot of cars unable to do so, and the carnage now rests at the bottom of turn number 2 here at Talladega.
And that is ironic. That's the second time that Ryan Newman has had a spectacular wreck like that at Daytona. I guess he did the same thing, barrel rolling down the front straightaway.
Exactly. Got a wild taste. As a matter of fact, his teammate, Rusty Wallace, had an episode there of several races where he had big crashes here at Talladega and at Daytona, and now teammate Ryan Newman having the same type of problems. Again, we've involved some 14, at least 14 cars in a crash over in turn number 2, just the third lap of the Aaron's 499. Let's go back and check in with Dave Moody.
Well, Joe, the cleanup effort continues. They are hauling the mangled remains of Johnny Benson's Valvoline machine now just away from the scene. He's one of a half dozen or more cars that are still here, and that car is thoroughly used up. There is not a straight body panel, save for maybe the roof, and that may have a wrinkle in it as well. Among the other cars that are still here, Ricky Rudd's Ford is going up on the rollback as we speak. The Mike Skinner machine is here, Jimmy Spencer's car as well, and a couple of others that are still obscured from our view behind the safety vehicles here in turn 2.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was at the place in the racetrack where he should have been involved in that crash, but he made a very nice maneuver down on the grass to get by. There is some damage on the left front air dam on the Budweiser Chevrolet. They're working on that car on pit road, but again, the damage there, minor compared to some of the other drivers involved, which include Jamie McMurray, Ryan Newman, Mark Martin. These are all involved in the crash, some able to continue, some not. Casey Mears, one of those, along with Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Burton, Johnny Benson, Ricky Rudd. Hermie Sadler was in the crash, along with Jerry Nadeau, Todd Bodine, Bobby Labonte, Mike Skinner, Jeff Green, Jack Sprague, and Ken Schrader early on involved in a crash in turn 2 here at Talladega. Let's hear from another one of the drivers involved in the crash. Daniel Fry.
Casey Mears, you just came out of the infield care center. Casey, from your vantage point, what happened?
I don't know, I just talked to Ryan. He said he blew out a left rear tire, and it just started a chain reaction. We all tried to miss it, and I went high and tried to miss it there, and I guess I tried not to hit Jamie, and Rusty got in the back of me, and a bunch of other guys got in it. Couldn't do anything about it.
That's Casey Mears. Once we get some some word on Ryan Newman and the others that are in the infield care center, we'll pass that along.
Let's go back to Dave Moody.
All right, Joe, all the cars now have been removed from the scene. The last to go up on the rollback was the Hermie Sadler car. A one-time start. His Aaron's dream machine has turned into a bad dream. Heavy damage all the way around. The cars have been cleared. They're now working on getting the fluid soaked up and cleared out of the way. The jet dryers have made a pass, and they may make another before we're set to go back to green.
Let's check in down at the care center one more time.
Yeah, Hermie Sadler has made his way from the infield care center. Jeff Green has made his way out. Rusty Wallace also walking from the infield care center. Hermie Sadler talking to some folks down here. Hermie, what happened?
Looks like the 12 car blew a tire getting into turn one, and we just started piling up from there. So just disappointing, as you know, driving the Aaron's Dream Machine. This is the Aaron's race, and we'd like to race a little bit longer than that, but there's just nowhere to go. So luckily, I think everybody's okay, and we'll move on next week and try to get at Martinsville.
Tough break for Hermie Sadler, who's making his first Winston Cup start of 2003.
Well, the good news is apparently everybody is okay, but that was a collision over there that involved about a third of the field, pretty much is what we saw again here yesterday.